It's recording! Yes! Oh my god, it took me like 10 tries to actually get the camera to start working, and now I'm actually excited. That doesn't have anything to do with today's video. This week's video is actually something that I'm hoping to be like more informative than persuasive. Or actually, it might even be a combination of both. I need to stop saying actually every other sentence. I really do. This week's video, I'm hoping it's going to be more informative than it is going to be like a slap in the face of reality. It's going to be something almost like what a teacher would present to a class. Because on the inside, I want to believe that I have good teaching abilities. With my wisdom and my charisma and my ability to use simple words that everyone's going to understand, I really hope that's how this week's video is going to come off as. And if it doesn't, please let me know. This week's video, it's a term that I had really never heard until my freshman year of college. Now, you know, this was a long time ago, freshman year of college. Okay, it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago that I had my freshman year of college, but I still had never really heard the term before in the ways of that I could look at my everyday interactions like, oh my gosh, this is a science, and it's a term. If you've ever heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover, lookism is kind of that term that like brings that idea together. Other phrases that lookism brings together is, you know, the freaks come out at night and girls should wear no makeup, or no, that's not it. I prefer a girl that wears no makeup. Your tattoos say a lot about your character and your choices. Your height or your level of attractiveness is actually how you're gonna carry yourself in the world. Lookism is a thing in just the job force. Have you ever seen that picture on Facebook where there's a man in a doctor coat and his sleeves are covered and his neck is covered? The caption of the Facebook picture is, would you hire this man to take care of your sick children? And then when he took off the doctor's coat, he had like full sleeves on both his arms up into his neck. So the man had a whole tatted body, but he was still a doctor. And that didn't really matter, did it? It didn't matter when he had the lab coat on, but once you took the lab coat off and you put on a biker shirt with no sleeves, it definitely became a big difference in the way you looked at that person, right? There was one story that someone from my freshman year UVC class shared with me. He was at a job interview, and when he didn't get a call back for a really long time, the job didn't want him because he did not talk with his hands enough. So like talking with your hands is part of lookism. It's almost like the genuinity and the believability and the warmth in what you're presenting to everyday people. And to go even further into lookism, what I'm studying personally, communication, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. That is the exact same thing that happened in that guy's job interview. Because he didn't say what he wanted to say in a good enough way. He wasn't good enough to do something that has nothing to do with talking with your hands. Like, does that make sense at all? Lookism happens so much more than we're willing to admit, especially with rape culture happening in college. The level of a girl's skirt has to do with how much she's going to put out. Anything below her knees is like a prude, and anything above the upper thigh is whore. And then anything mid-thigh is kind of asking for it. And then it goes even further into that, even the level of high-heeled shoe you're wearing. Flats, it's like tomboy, and then 2 inches is like virgin, and then like anything more than 5 inches is just, again, whore. And I'm seeing these pictures and I'm continuing this study and I'm interacting with people and having this conversation, trying to get more ideas and understand how this whole lookism world works. And I'm very confused, and I get all antsy when I'm gonna leave my house about, I wonder if what I wear today is going to affect how I'm gonna be approached and respected at school. And when I go out to have fun, me personally, sometimes I'm actually kind of conscious about what I'm choosing to wear when I go out to dinner with my family. Am I setting a good example in what I'm wearing and how I'm carrying myself? I wanna point out that I'm not overthinking this. So many times females are accused of overthinking everything. But I would like to see you go out of your house for one day in sweatpants and a sweatshirt and your hair a total mess. Maybe have a few bags under your eyes. And then the next day, come in with some really nice gel in your hair and have a really nice sweater or fitted shirt on and some slacks And do not wear sneakers. Wear really nice fitted dress shoes. And see how differently you are treated. It's interesting that I've seen in group projects over the years, whether it was in high school or in college, and even actually starting in elementary school now that I think about it, but the person who's kind of chosen by the group to be the one that presents the project or take the lead, it doesn't matter how smart they are or how good their grade is in the class. Usually the person that's presenting the group project or, is kind of chosen to lead the group or make the decisions, the alpha leader, it's the person that's looked to, it's actually kind of biggest personality. And I don't mean personality on the inside. If you have a personality that matches your outside, you're either blessed or you're screwed. And it really doesn't get any more complex than that. You're either blessed or you're screwed. And with group projects, I've seen like the biggest guy or the most athletic or the most good looking is the one that's chosen to lead the group. And if you don't believe me, try going into a classroom and seeing how differently the athletes are treated than the smart people, or the beautiful people, or the uggos, or the stoners, or the emo kids. Just go in and see how differently everyone's treated. And the way to do this, by not practicing lookism, is to not say anything. In this study that I'm actually kind of opting everybody to go out and try, or I'm suggesting everybody to go out and try, you have to be an observer. You are the complete third party that is just watching how everybody else is treated. There was a study made a while ago about guys and girls on Tinder and how they were treated. So this one girl did 3 different makeup looks and was in the exact same area. It wasn't like she went way around the country or anything. She wore 3 different levels of makeup. She had none at all. She had the everyday look, like with foundation and eyeliner and maybe like mascara and blush. And then she had like full on runway contour, like the whole thing with like really mad lipstick and very, very dramatic eye color. She was treated differently as the same girl, but with different makeup styles on. Wearing little to no makeup, she barely got any attention at all. And wearing the everyday makeup look, she actually was more respected. And she was treated more kind of humorously like a friend, kind of flirty but not too flirty. And then with the runway and contour look, it was kind of an instant assumption that she was interested in sexual activity. Now, I can't speak for this girl, but doing an experiment, she probably wasn't interested in sexual activity. She was interested in getting results. And from that study, it was obvious that lookism is a thing. Now, this is just the opening story, granted. It was a study made around like the beginning days of Tinder. But in everyday interaction, it's true. An example of how people treat you differently based on how you look as a female is a thing. Now, I'm allowed to do whatever I want with my makeup, and I don't know who just texted me. I'm not gonna try to pass that off. It was my mommy. At my first job, where it's a bit more casual kind of place, it's related to food. So I'm not wearing like ultimate like fitting clothing that's gonna like accentuate my figure like I do at my second job. My second job is being a scout for a modeling agency. There's a big difference in the attire that I am wearing from both of my jobs. First job, I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt, non-slip shoes with my hair up. I'm allowed to do whatever I want with my makeup, sure. But at the second job, I have to wear all black and heels, and I have to have the most perfect face. Full disclosure, at both jobs, I'm not supposed to be distracting. I'm not supposed to be promoting a sexual feeling in other people, no matter if it's a guy or a girl. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying that when I go out and I'm having my daily interactions, whether it's at work or at school or having a text conversation, I get treated differently based on what makeup I'm wearing and even how I treat my hair. A lot of times in my videos, I will, mess around with my hair and like I'll tell you guys that, oh, this is what my hair is doing. But something about hair on a female, a hair is like a car, okay? It's expensive and it's valuable and you have to take care of it. When I take care of my hair, I really do get treated differently. When it is smooth and tame and I go out and it blows in the wind just a little bit, I can feel stares coming on. I'm just walking out of my car on the way to the grocery store door. I'm not trying to turn you on, okay? I'm not. It just so happens that I took care of myself and you're admiring that, even though you don't know me as a person. I'm telling you guys, lookism is a thing. Sometimes I'm getting really upset that men are approaching girls after the sun goes down in much different ways than when the sun is out. No matter what media message you're sending, if it's on a Facebook message, a Twitter direct message, an Instagram message, or a text message, they're all very different once the sun goes down. It's also very different in person as well. You ever been walking down the street and you get kind of yelled at? Catcalled even. If you ever get yelled at on the street based on what you're wearing or your gender, it is one of the most uncomfortable things probably ever to exist. I don't understand what it is about the night and a car, both put together, that makes guys feel like they're indestructible. It's like they're in a car and they're driving past you and they think that they can just yell the most vulgar thing at you and just keep going and it's not gonna stick in your head. Like, that's not a really nice thing to do anyway. That's a jerk move. And it's something about the sun not being there. It's like we can't figure out who it was, because I am a very social person and I have a pretty good name standing in this community with my job and my volunteer hours, even my parents, because they've done really monumental things in their field of work. I happen to know a lot of people in this town and in this state even. There have actually been times that me personally, Alexandra, was catcalled and I figured out who it was. I will not tell you who it was, just for, privacy's sake. But the day that I run into you guys, you're screwed. You messed with me, and it can stick in my head, and I can plot out my revenge as much as I want. But the only thing is, well, not the only thing, but multiple things. Something about being an adult girl, you kind of have to plan out if you're ever gonna be a bitch or not about something. You have the wisdom and the knowledge to know when is the right time to go after somebody, no matter if it's a girl or a guy that did you wrong. But you kind of got to be like, okay, I could destroy you, but I can't because, jail. I tell my sister this a lot. My fighting years are over. There was a time in my life and any other person's life that they could get in fights or get in brawls and it would not be that big of a deal. And it's kind of the whole what you were fighting about, who you were fighting with, and how you were fighting. Those are all going to be vital parts of what I call the fighting years. And the time of my life that I could have been fighting and it would have been okay. I wouldn't have gone to jail or I wouldn't have gotten in serious trouble. Those fighting years are gone. They are past me. I've never been in a physical fight before, but if the time came that I needed to do it, I probably wouldn't, because I'm almost 20 years old and that should not be happening anyway. Once you're out of high school, there's no real reason to be in any physical fights anymore, I don't think. It's one thing to fight over a drink or fight over someone that was dancing with someone that you liked. You can get upset about that, but it's so much cooler to walk away with your head held high, saying something so witty and true instead of missing the punch or punching them and it not doing anything so they punch you and it's way worse. It's so much cooler to just walk away. It doesn't really feel good in the moment. People really look at you differently. And that's lookism right there. The way that people handle their problems. People that handle their problems out loud in public are definitely not treated the same as people that solve their problems in isolation. Maybe they journal it or they subtweet a lot, like half the people that I know. Lookism is measured many different ways. It's practiced every day. It's not a sexist thing, please don't get me wrong. Just so that you guys can believe me here, I'm gonna look up the definition of lookism right now. Alrighty. Lookism. It's a noun. Construction of a standard for beauty and attractiveness and judgments made about people on the basis of how well or poorly they meet the standard. So all in all from this video, it's one thing to be sexist or prejudiced or racist or anti-gay, but it's way deeper when you're only doing it based on their physicality. That's way level jerk. Lookism has definitely gotten practiced with me, and sometimes I take it to my advantage. And when I say that, I mean I take advantage of being a young, beautiful girl. I do take advantage of that, and honestly that's what I'm doing with my college degree. I understand that the beautiful people are going to be approached and wanted more than, I'll say, the uggos. I've always called them the uggos, and maybe that's a bad thing, but you know what? Every girl probably has an uggo stage anyway, so technically at one point we were all uggos. Stop judging me. When I'm at my second job and I'm modeling, I understand that me trying to get people to take my service, which is just them filling out a form, is not going to always come off the way that I desire. Guys already think that a girl going up to them, period, is flirting. Though most of the time that is the case, when I'm at work, that's not the case. And yesterday, the other girl who was scouting with me said to me that, you know, you should probably be the one to take on the guys. And I was like, why? And the person that I was scouting with does not look like me. I'm a short, petite, white girl, and the person that I was scouting with was a taller, thicker, black girl. She said to me, like, look, guys are not going to be as open to taking even the clipboard from me as they are you. And I'm nervously chuckling to myself when she's saying this, but it's true. It's the whole standards of beauty in this century is to be white. It's the white supremacy that's still happening. Whatever. After she said that to me, I remembered something that I had been saying to a lot of people when they asked me why I was so confident. This was, granted, you know, since I had turned 17. Like, why are you so confident? And I said to the girl that I was scouting with, you know, you might be right. As much as I hate it, how we do, you know, just go to the white people in the room because somehow they just seem like they have it all together, all pure and white skin. I told her that, you know, for a long time I took advantage of being a young, beautiful girl. I'm working my way into other adjectives from girl to woman and not just a physical label, but it's true. Lookism is practiced. I really wish there were more studies on lookism. I would probably be the one to do all of those studies. I don't have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. I don't even have an associate's degree, okay? So even if I wanted to make those studies, it would probably take a bit more practicing than just reading the textbook. What did I just say? It would take a lot more than just, you know, getting people together and asking them to fill out a form. Filling out the forms in a study, sometimes you're just tempted to lie. You're really not going to answer that honestly when it comes down to how your brain works and if you're judgmental or not. But if any of you have ever like done one of those practices where you did one of those like social experiments, like how were Indian women treated or how was an Asian woman treated as opposed to a black girl, all gonna be different, honestly. But it's just something that, you know, it's been kind of in my brain. I mean, I said earlier that I learned this term my freshman year of college, but it's amazing that even after all of this time trying to get past racism and sexism and the feminist movement and not having to be so unbelievably thin to be noticed in a room, it's still happening. It's still happening, and I don't know how the world's gonna evolve, like, after these next 20 years. Obviously, you know, I'm not even 20, so I can't know what the next 20 years are gonna be like, but I'm really excited to see how it turns out. In conclusion from Lookism, Lookism is a standard. It's not a very common standard, but it is a standard. If you've ever gone through Lookism, if you didn't know what the term was before, at least you know now. I'm kind of glad that I could shed some light on if anybody like had this inkling, like, oh, was I treated this way because I was like this? Odds are, yeah, it was. Welcome to the world. This is how it works. This video was not really persuasive or funny, but it was definitely informative, and it was probably a lot more of Alex's thoughts than it was a textbook. But that's okay. I will put my links for my social media accounts in the description below. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope this video definitely gave you something to think about. And in the meantime, I will see you all next week. P.S. My spring break starts at the end of this week, and my hair will also be a different color before I leave for spring break. There will be a video posted next week, I promise, but if anybody like wants to get in contact with me and talk to me about this video, I won't be here. Look out, world. Alex on spring break, and she's confident. This is always the weirdest part of the video, because I never really know how I'm supposed to say goodbye. I was singing really, really loud in the car when I was on my way home, so if I like scream at all, I feel like I might get a little bit raspy. I don't know if anybody wants a raspy Alexandra Moran voice, so.